Welcome to Historical Side-Eye, where we take a look at old architecture. This building seems pretty unassuming from the outside, but when we take a closer look, we see some of the characteristics that we're all familiar with, like these wine glass features right here, and the teeth, and the crest. And then we got columns also. And when you walk up, you see some lions. Got one on this side and one on the other side, and of course there needs to be a date put in there, so 1855 it looks like. We got arches up here on the ceiling, and then inside we see a lot of intricate antique furniture. Sorry, some of these pictures are a little blurry, but here you can see a shield and some possible griffins on the side. We got this flower pattern that we saw at the cemetery. Ornate ceilings. We'll take a look at that a little later. Beautiful bronze statues with this instrument here. And even the picture frame has decorations of the falling flowers and the leaf pattern on the bottom. The carpet had some nice designs on it. We got this right here. And then this one, 8-sided star. And then in the middle is like the 4-leaf pattern that we've seen in previous episodes. Again, more intricate furniture. On the bottom here we see half of like a flower pattern. More statues. And this has that, similar to the Greek meander wave pattern that we also saw in earlier episodes in the cemetery, engraved here on the furniture. Just everywhere. Again, we have the 4-leaf pattern, and with like a little flower on the inside. Here we see the 4-leaf pattern again, and then more on the sides. Looks like there's a depiction of a woman here and a man, not quite sure what the story is there. Big statues down the hallway. More intricate furniture. These birds or griffins. We got wreaths. More flower patterns on the door. This one I couldn't quite make out. And take a look at this clock with the fleur-de-lis. And here's more shields. This looks like maybe some sort of anchor or something like that, and then 2 dots on the bottom. Reversed pattern on the other side. Another statue with this tapestry behind it. To me, the figure on the right seems to be dark-skinned. And take a look at that. Nice. This was on this mirror rack. And then here's a birds, maybe the cranes, I think they are. And looks to be some sort of maybe fountain in the middle. This one seems to depict some sort of story here. In the first panel, looks like these two people are maybe sharing this staff. Then they hold it together and we see the flower pattern emerge. And here it's looks like a cross and a guy with a helmet. Here they seem to be pointing to the skies. Now they're holding something. And I think sharing it. Gets hard to tell right here. And something happens here. Seems like they're telling some sort of story. And look at these patterns here. Big flower pattern in the door. And this pattern in the carpet. Down to the chairs. And the light fixtures. So here we got a fleur-de-lis. And here looks to me like Mithra. And this painting, we see the basket of fruits, falling fruit, some sort of wand in this hand, and the horn flute instrument that we see all around, which I'll feature in a future episode. And then take a look at this. A lot going on here. These guys are holding staffs. This one has like a castle on it. This one has like a helmet and flowers. This one again has like a castle piece and a shield. This one has like a shirt and then some sort of helmet maybe. Looks like an animal or a magic lamp maybe. And over here we got what looks to be lions and this shape. I'd mentioned that I'd seen this shape when in the previous episode in the cemetery. I said I'd seen it somewhere, I wasn't quite sure, but here it is. So let's take a look at what I'm referring to. So yeah, there it is. Another painting, columns, statues. And outside in the courtyard, we got an old lantern. And these statues. And a little container, which we'll take a look at a little later. And then this Hermes looking character, which, keep this in mind, we're going to take another look at a different angle later. And the shield. With a bird on it. A couple birds. And some other things. Not quite sure what I'm looking at. And then here it is. Here's a fountain in the courtyard. attached to brick wall with arch on it. We got the leaf pattern. And the shell. And take a look at that lion right there. Okay, let's take a listen. So many fountains in the area. Here's looking up from the courtyard. And here's a close-up of that lantern. I'm also going to do a future episode on all the old school lanterns I've seen around town and street lamps. Here's the floor. This one I really wish came out better. Just really cool patterns on here on this vent close to the ground. On the side we have this like meander pattern, and then it becomes like a square, and then there's like a 4-leaf pattern in there. Wish that came out better. And check this out. On the floor, big flower of life. The lady told us that this was a new addition. Very cool new addition. This was also something recently added, is these lighting fixtures. We got the 4-leaf pattern, and then on the inside a quatrefoil, which again I'll do a future episode on that. I think there's something to these. I see them everywhere, yet nobody knows what it is, what it's for. The table in one of the rooms, we got the wreath around, and then an 8-sided pattern. Another beautiful painting. Couldn't quite figure out what this was, but still want to share it anyway. And then let's look at this. Looks like an engraving or a lithograph. Domes, roof lanterns. We got obelisks and fountains. And if we look here, this might even be a quadrifoil shape as well. Can't quite make out the inscription. This was another room on the inside. Looks maybe older. This was the biggest disappointment. This was in a closed off room. I only got one shot and didn't come out. I could have sat and analyzed this one for a long time, but there's a shield in the middle, there's a crown on the top, fleur-de-lis everywhere, 2 figures on either side. If I can ever make it back here, this I'll get another shot of. An old looking door. There was a couple of fireplaces. This one has the shell pattern in the middle, which we've seen everywhere. Another statue. different fireplace. Kind of hard to tell, but I was trying to capture on the side here. It looks like there's this face here and legs, and with like kind of like bird legs. Kind of see it on this side as well. Here's looking up the stairway. Again, more busts in the background. Statues, arches. And here is that container with the fruit overflowing. And here's another picture here. You know, I really felt like I was just walking around a museum to the old world, and that they were trying to communicate things to us in everything that's around. So here we go. Here's the inside of a bridge. Looks like a Moorish arch, and then a metal construction attached to it. Looks like really old stonework. More flower patterns. And this reminds me of the Second Church of Christ Scientist back in episode 3. Looking up and seeing all the designs up there. Here again, another wreath, and looks like a flower pattern on the inside. Alternating patterns over here. Very just intricate work here. Just seems like a lot of labor put into something like this. Just beautiful. So here's the other side of that statue. If you remember the guy with the helmet. And then here on the bottom, looks like maybe an animal, maybe another person. But either way, there is somebody, something on the side there. Can't quite completely make it out. Another beautiful picture. Here's like an old shot of Venice, I guess. All the similar features that we look at everywhere. There's the stairs. And here's the ceiling again. So let's take a close look. So this pattern reminds me of in Inglewood Park Cemetery. So yeah, you can see a similarity there. The floor plan. Again, beautiful tapestries that have the same features that we see in the engravings, in the statues. Here's another lithograph. And another one. And this beautiful picture here. Not quite sure where this is. But look at those domes. And the roof lanterns. Again, angle with the columns, with a flower pattern on the middle. Three arched windows. Three arched windows. And I just thought this was a beautiful shape here on here. With real crystal, by the way. Another statue and another fountain. And here another photo. This is what used to be the Pantages Theater. Notice the items on the top. Happen to drive by this same building a little bit later, and let's take a look at what it looks like now. I didn't know what I was looking at the time, but I just saw a beautiful building, so I had to take some pictures. Notice here on the top, you'll see it's missing those pieces. But just look at this intricacy on here. We got shields, they're missing pieces. We got the shell, we got the wreaths. Just one of the most intricate domes I've seen. So as you can see, they removed those pieces that I was pointing out. Another painting with a fountain. We'll get a close-up of this in a minute. More old LA. All the properties that this hotel owns. So there we go. Take a look at this thing that we got here for the fountain. This reminds me of what I saw at the Mission in Riverside, which I haven't featured yet on YouTube, but the MeWe crew will recognize from me posting earlier. Let's take a look. And there he is. Not an exact match, but similarly weird and not what we're used to when looking at fountains. So not quite the same, but similar. So just want to point that out because at risk of repeating myself, I'm going to do a future episode featuring fountains, and we'll be taking a look at these features. Here's an old lamp. Interesting shape on the top there. So yeah, Ayres Hotel in Hawthorne, California. I would drive by a lot, and judging from the outside, especially with the color that's painted, wouldn't think much of it, wouldn't catch my attention at all. But the more I drove by, the more I saw these little features, the more I thought about it. Hey, I should take a closer look and see if there's something there. Because we see this type of facade on all sorts of buildings. We got the column inside the arches, which we've seen in previous episodes. The teeth everywhere. Here's the column base. More of that ceiling. And the window. And right outside, I didn't notice it when I was coming in, but coming out, there is another fountain with this guy right here. If you guys know who this is, please hit me up. All right, let's take a listen. Beautiful. More arches. And a raised first story entrance on the back side. So we all know what I'm referencing there. Another old lantern. And there's the crest again. So yeah, I thought that was a great place. That was really cool to see. Was not expecting to see all the things on the inside. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks for watching another episode of Historical Side-Eye. We'll be back real soon with another episode.
There's got to be more to this thing we call time, cause the future can't be seen in terms of straight lines. So combine the sight of instincts and wisdom's eyes, stroke the lows and highs of this ride we call life.